For question number 1, it says let C represent any non-zero rational number. Select all values that when added to C will produce an irrational number. So the first thing you need to recall in this problem is what it means for a number to be rational or irrational. So I need you to recall, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So any type of fraction, that includes a whole number because a whole number can be a fraction. Integers, positives and negatives. Terminating decimals such as 1/2 or repeating decimals such as 1/3. So these numbers make sense. An irrational number means non-perfect squares. So for example, square root 9 is rational, but square root 10 is irrational. They do not terminate and they do not repeat. So pi, square root 3, positive or negative numbers as long as they are irrational. So going back to the problem, it is asking you also to recall what it means to be a closed set. So recall that the closure property says you can have a rational plus rational to get a rational number back, or rational times rational for rational. But this problem is asking you that C is a non-zero rational number. Select all values that when added to C will produce an irrational number. So it is following this pattern. Rational, that is non-zero, so let's say 3, plus any irrational number will always be irrational. So your task really at hand, since you do not have a calculator, is to know which of these numbers. So A is a fraction, so that is rational. B is pi squared, that is irrational. Square root 36 is rational because square root 36 equals 6. 8.73, it terminates, so it is rational. And square root 95 is a non-perfect square, so it is irrational. So it says select all values that when added to C, which is a rational, so some number that will produce an irrational number. So basically any number that is irrational needs to go here. So those choices would be B and E. These would all produce rational. These two would produce irrational.